My child, breathe slowly and feel the gravity of this moment settling on your chest. Before your eyes ever found this message, your spirit sensed a summoning. The unseen has been reaching for you, nudging you with an intensity you could no longer ignore, because heaven refuses to watch you surrender another hour to distraction or hesitation. The truth is simple. You have run out of time to delay what God has placed on your life. And now the Holy Spirit halts your steps and speaks with a fire that cannot be mistaken. Wake up, chosen one. Tonight, the slow leak of destiny ends. Feel the atmosphere around you settle. Feel how your breath deepens without you trying. That's not emotion, that's alignment. You were drawn here because the Most High has been watching the way you've been moving, drifting, hesitating at thresholds meant to be crossed. You have been standing at the doorway of your breakthrough season, but every step you postpone becomes a seed of lost time. And heaven cannot allow that any longer, because what is written for you carries too much weight, too much divine purpose, too much impact for you to remain paused in uncertainty. Hear this with your spirit. You were crafted for elevation. You were marked for abundance. You were assigned a destiny alignment that no darkness could erase. But heaven has watched the hours you surrendered to fear, the opportunities you laid down because you didn't believe you were ready. The moments when the wealth mindset God gave you dimmed beneath disappointment. And now, the Father leans in and whispers, "I am doing a new thing." Isaiah 43:19. Can you not perceive it? Chosen one, this is not gentle encouragement. This is a rescue, a recovery of time you didn't realize you'd lost. You have been waiting for permission from life, from people, from circumstances. But heaven already crowned you capable. Heaven already declared you prepared. And while you've been standing still, the river of divine timing has continued flowing. Today's summons is heaven calling your name before another moment slips into eternity, untouched by your assignment. Your delays were not failures, but they have become warnings. Your spirit has been restless because destiny has been knocking, louder, harder, refusing to accept silence as your answer. You have prayed for signs, but the truth is, the signs have been all around you. The repeated dreams, the heightened intuition, the sudden emotional healing that came without explanation, the inner pull towards something greater. These weren't coincidences. They were signals that you were drifting too far from your ordained path. Beloved soul, listen. You are not behind, but you are out of position, and heaven is correcting your course before the window closes. This is why the weight in your chest has increased. This is why the longing for transformation has become impossible to ignore. God is not letting you lose another year, another month, another day. 2. Hesitation. The breakthrough season you've been sensing is not future tense. It is present, but it requires you to wake up fully. And right here, before we go further, if your spirit is stirring, if something deep inside you is recognizing this as truth, pause and take one breath of agreement. And as an act of obedience, subscribe, like, and share this message. Not for numbers, but because heaven uses your simple agreement to expand the reach of a word meant to wake others from the same sleep you've been in. Someone's destiny is tied to your yes. Now, beloved, stay. Do not look away, because the next revelation will name the real reason your time has been slipping, and what heaven is about to expose will change everything. Chosen one, hear this with the depth of your spirit, because heaven has been waiting for you to finally recognize what has been unfolding around your life. The pressure you've been feeling, the delays that made no sense, the quiet battles you fought alone, the sudden waves of clarity followed by stretches of confusion. None of it was random. You have been walking through a season shaped by divine intention, even when it felt like resistance. What looked like stagnation was actually a sacred recalibration, a stripping away of everything that could not follow you into the future God designed. You thought you were losing time, but heaven saw you losing fragments of yourself to environments that no longer matched your calling. There have been moments recently where your heart grew restless for no obvious reason. You felt a tug in your chest, a tightening that came without warning, as though something inside you was trying to speak before your mind could interpret it. That was not anxiety. It was spiritual awakening. It was the Spirit of God signaling that your alignment was shifting, that old identities were cracking under the weight of the future pressing to be born. You wondered why certain relationships began to feel heavy, why familiar spaces suddenly felt too small, why conversations that once brought comfort now felt draining. Heaven was allowing you to outgrow what was limiting your elevation. You were not being abandoned, you were being prepared. Beloved soul, the truth is this: you have not merely lost time, you have been held in a divine pause, a holy intermission designed to break you free from patterns that would have sabotaged your destiny alignment. You asked God for abundance, for purpose, for personal transformation, for emotional healing, for financial stability, but what you did not realize is that these blessings cannot be poured into a vessel still tethered to yesterday. And so heaven slowed your steps, not to punish you, but to unhook you from cycles that were draining your authority, numbing your discernment, and silencing the confidence required for your breakthrough season. Think of Joseph, beloved. Before he ever stood in a palace, he walked through pits and prisons that made no logical sense. Every delay looked like a detour, yet every detour was divine engineering. Genesis 41:14 speaks of the moment Pharaoh sent for Joseph and immediately brought him out of the dungeon. Suddenly, without warning, without explanation. But what most overlook is this: the sudden shift was the fruit of unseen preparation. The years Joseph thought were wasted were the very years heaven was building the character, clarity, and resilience he needed for elevation. Chosen one, your life has mirrored this more than you know. The overlooked seasons, the lonely nights, the prayers that seemed unanswered, the opportunities that slipped away at the last minute. Heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was protecting the blueprint of your calling. Had certain doors opened too early, they would have crushed you. Had certain people stayed longer, they would have weakened your foundation. Had certain blessings arrived before you were healed, they would have dissolved in your hands. This is why the Lord whispers in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future." You have been living in the tension between the plan and the unveiling, and now the unveiling has begun. Pay attention, chosen one. The atmosphere around your life has changed. You may not fully understand it yet, but heaven has shifted your timeline. What once resisted you is losing its grip. What once drained you is falling away. What once confused you is being illuminated. You have entered the earliest edge of a breakthrough season, and your spirit knows it. That's why you have been yearning for more, craving clarity, sensing that something is approaching even when you cannot name it. This is destiny alignment pulling you forward. This is the wealth mindset awakening within you. Not merely about finances, but about spiritual inheritance, discipline, vision, and divine authority. But here is the part heaven needs you to understand. Although the shift has begun, your agreement is still required. The time you lost cannot be restored by insight alone. Restoration requires recognition, awareness, willingness, a sacred yes from the depths of your soul. Because there are blessings waiting for you that cannot land until you stop treating your life as though you are still recovering instead of rising. You are not the version of yourself who entered the last storm. You are stronger, wiser, clearer. Heaven has fortified you in ways you have not yet seen. And I must tell you this, beloved soul, with all the weight of heaven behind it, there were forces that counted on you staying asleep. There were patterns that hoped you would settle. There were voices that benefited from your confusion, but God stepped in. The same God who watched over you in silence has now begun to disrupt the silence with revelation. You may not have realized it, but even the moments when you felt lost were moments when angels stood guard over your destiny, refusing to let the enemy steal what was written for your future. You have survived warfare that was never visible. You have walked through nights where something tried to extinguish your hope. Yet here you stand, stirring again, reaching again, believing again. That is proof that heaven has been fighting for you. Chosen one, this is the moment where the narrative shifts. This is the moment where lost time begins to return in unexpected ways. Opportunities will resurface, strength will rise, vision will sharpen, and doors will open not by effort, but by alignment. Chosen one, there is a truth unfolding around your life right now that you have not fully grasped, yet heaven refuses to let you miss it. You have been walking through days that felt strangely weighty, almost as if time itself has been pressing against your shoulders. You thought it was exhaustion, but it was spiritual pressure signaling that your old season can no longer contain you. The unseen realm has been stirring, recalibrating your trajectory, removing layers of identity that were never truly yours, resurfacing memories you tried to bury, and awakening long-dormant gifts that your next assignment requires. What you've been calling confusion has actually been spiritual acceleration, disguised as disruption. There have been nights recently when sleep felt shallow, when you woke with a sense of urgency in your chest, as though heaven was whispering your name before dawn. That stirring was not mere restlessness, it was divine prompting. It was heaven nudging you toward awareness because you have reached a threshold moment, a point in your journey where the accumulation of lost time must now be redeemed. And redemption does not come quietly. Redemption arrives like a shift in the wind. It unsettles old patterns. It exposes hidden attachments. It brings to light the subtle ways the enemy attempted to shrink your spirit while leaving your body still moving through life as if nothing was happening. You have felt this shrinking before without having a word for it. The subtle dimming of your confidence, the way your dreams felt too heavy to carry, the moments when you settled for survival instead of pursuing purpose, the heaviness that made you question whether the promise God whispered years ago was ever meant for you. These were not signs of weakness. They were symptoms of spiritual suppression. Something tried to convince you that average was acceptable, that delay was normal, that your divine purpose was optional. But the truth is that heaven has always been counting on your awakening. The kingdom invested too much in the formation of your soul for you to live beneath your calling. Beloved soul, understand this. Your life has been under divine surveillance. Psalm 121 declares that the one who watches over you does not slumber nor sleep. While you felt forgotten, you were being observed. While you worried that opportunities were bypassing you, strategic alignments were being arranged in the background. While you lamented the time you lost, heaven was preparing a restoration so profound that the years you surrender to God will be multiplied back to you in forms you could never have imagined. But restoration requires readiness, and readiness demands awakening. That is why certain relationships have grown distant without explanation. Why people you once relied on have faded into the background. Why environments that once felt like home now feel constricting. Heaven has been clearing your orbit, trimming dead branches so the tree of your destiny can bear new fruit. This pruning wasn't punishment, it was preservation. You asked for elevation, and elevation requires letting go of weights that cannot rise with you, even if those weights came in familiar faces and familiar comforts. Chosen one, you must understand just how much was fighting to keep you still. There were distractions disguised as opportunities, comfort zones disguised as stability, connections that looked like support but quietly drained your emotional healing. Yet heaven intervened. That unease you felt when you tried to force yourself into old cycles was the spirit resisting what would have locked you into another year of delay. When the path you walked suddenly grew narrow, it wasn't because God was restricting you. It was because He was guiding you back into alignment with a destiny too wide to be carried on a small mindset. This is where the wealth mindset begins to rise, not as greed or ambition, but as a spiritual awakening to your worth. A recognition that you are not meant to shrink yourself to fit inside the limitations others placed around your potential. That you are not meant to inherit lack, but abundance. Not meant to repeat cycles, but to break them. Not meant to endure the same emotional wounds, but to rise in the power of emotional healing that heaven has been pouring into your inner world. There have been moments in the past months when you felt a fire rekindling inside you, though you could not explain where it came from. You felt sudden clarity in your convictions, sudden strength in your decisions, sudden courage in your boundaries. This wasn't personality change. It was spiritual reconstruction. Heaven has been rebuilding the parts of you that delay once fractured, reinforcing the walls of your spirit so that when the next level arrives, you won't crumble under the weight of blessing. And yes, chosen one, blessing does carry weight. Abundance requires capacity. Purpose demands endurance. Breakthrough season calls for disciplined alignment. Heaven has seen your capacity stretching quietly in the background. You have survived storms meant to break you. You have navigated losses that would have crushed another soul. You have walked through shadows yet never surrendered the faint glow of hope inside you. That is why restoration is not optional. It is promised. But heaven needs you to hear this. You cannot bring the mindset of yesterday into the doorway of tomorrow. You cannot carry guilt, regret, or self-doubt into a season built for expansion. God is not simply returning what you lost, He is accelerating what was delayed. And acceleration requires a posture that matches the magnitude of your calling. You may not realize it, but your spirit has already begun to rise. You have been saying no to things you used to tolerate. You have been seeking clarity you once ran from. You have been sensing something approaching, even if you cannot explain it. That is destiny alignment pulling you like gravity toward the timeline heaven intended from the beginning. And even now, as you read these words, something in you recognizes the truth. Something in you knows you are standing at the border between who you were and who you are becoming. Something in you knows that time is no longer a luxury. It is a calling, and heaven is urging you to reclaim every hour, every opportunity, every breath with purpose. Chosen one, lean in now, because what I am about to speak reaches into the deepest architecture of your journey, into places you have not visited consciously, but that heaven has been reconstructing piece by piece. You have been feeling an inner stretch, a quiet expansion pressing against the walls of your old identity. It feels like longing one moment and discomfort the next. That is because your spirit has already stepped into a higher realm while your mind is still adjusting to the altitude. This tension is not a flaw in your faith. It is the sign that destiny is overtaking delay. There has been a war over your timeline, one you could not see with natural eyes. Not a war of swords or shadows, but a quiet battle for momentum. Every time you felt unexplainable heaviness, every moment when motivation vanished without reason, every season where progress felt painfully slow, it was not laziness or weakness. It was interference. Forces that recognized your potential long before you did have been attempting to tangle your steps, hoping you would mistake divine redirection for failure. But heaven has been intervening, breaking chains you never knew held you, dismantling burdens you thought were personality traits, silencing whispers that tried to convince you that what was written for you had expired. Beloved soul, do you understand what this means? It means the lost time you mourned was not lost at all. It was protected. Heaven hid you in plain sight while your spirit matured. There were seasons where you felt invisible, overlooked, easily replaced. But invisibility for the chosen ones is often incubation. God was shielding you from being mishandled by those who did not have the capacity to honor your purpose. He let some doors stay shut because entering them would have drained the energy needed for the assignment you are about to step into. This is why your spirit grew restless around certain people, even if their words sounded supportive. This is why your peace withdrew without explanation from environments you used to enjoy. Your aura began to shift, subtly, quietly, but unmistakably. You started resonating at a frequency incompatible with mediocrity. You began to outgrow the level that once felt safe, and when elevation begins internally, separation follows externally. Heaven never removes without replacing, but it does remove before replacing. Chosen one, heaven saw the weight you carried, the unspoken grief, the silent disappointments, the moments you reassured others while your own heart trembled. You convinced yourself to keep going even when you didn't know where going was leading, and heaven documented every step. Psalm 56:8 says, God collects your tears in his bottle, not metaphorically, spiritually, precisely, intentionally, and every tear has been counted toward your restoration. But restoration, true restoration, touches more than circumstances. It touches identity. God has been rewriting your internal script. You didn't notice it at first. It started with small shifts, a new boundary here, a moment of courage there, a clarity you couldn't explain, a sudden unwillingness to entertain old cycles, a strange sense that your future is calling louder than your fear. These were not random improvements. These were divine upgrades. Your emotional healing has begun to accelerate. The wounds you thought were permanent have quietly started closing. The self-doubt that once felt like a second skin has begun peeling away. The grief that weighed your chest now feels lighter. This is not accidental. It is spiritual engineering. Heaven has been preparing your capacity to carry abundance without breaking beneath its weight. Because hear me, chosen one, abundance is not merely money. Abundance is capacity, strength, wisdom, vision, discipline, peace, resilience. And heaven refuses to allow your next level to crush you the way your last setback did. That is why the refining process felt so intense. It was not punishment, it was strengthening. There is a reason your sensitivity has increased. Why you can feel when someone's intentions are not pure. Why you sense when a room carries spiritual heaviness. Why you discern shifts before they manifest. This is spiritual awakening, sharpening your senses. You are no longer operating as someone merely surviving life. You're stepping into the role of one who shapes it. Chosen one, your destiny alignment is activating. Heaven is repositioning you for opportunities that were once delayed, relationships that were once withheld, assignments that were once premature. You are entering a season where what you lost will return, but magnified. Where what slipped away will reappear with purpose. Where what drained you will be replaced by what nourishes you. But here is the part your spirit has been waiting to hear. Your acceleration has already started. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. And the evidence is simple. You are uncomfortable in places you used to tolerate. You are drawn to growth that once intimidated you. You hunger for clarity instead of distraction. You cannot go back to who you were because that version of you no longer exists. Heaven has already issued the command for your elevation. Yet there is still something deeper. Something heaven has been trying to reveal to you about why your life has carried such unusual warfare. Why your time has been so fiercely contested. Why your breakthroughs have always seemed delayed but never denied. This truth is approaching like a quiet dawn, rising gently but undeniably in your spirit. And when you hear it, everything, your past, your struggles, your delays, your resilience, will finally make sense. Chosen one, the reason your life has carried unusual battles, the reason your progress has often felt resisted, the reason you have walked through storms that seemed disproportionate to your circumstances, is because your calling has always been larger than your awareness of it. You were born carrying a blueprint that threatens darkness. You were crafted with a spiritual signature that cannot be duplicated, diluted, or erased. And every force that opposed you sensed your purpose long before you understood it yourself. This is why your time was targeted. Not your talent, not your relationships, your time. Because time is the womb of destiny, and if the enemy can suffocate your time, he can suffocate your impact. But heaven has been dismantling that strategy piece by piece. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with revelation. Notice how every season of heaviness coincided with a future moment of elevation. Notice how every delay secretly prepared you for a level of emotional healing and inner strength you didn't know you needed. Notice how the people who left your life did not halt your growth, but accelerated it. These patterns were not accidents. They were divine interruptions protecting you from misalignment. There were chapters of your life where discouragement wrapped itself around you like fog. You felt slow, stuck, unable to move forward. You blamed yourself for lacking motivation. But chosen one, you were never weak. You were being spiritually recalibrated. Heaven was shutting down pathways that would have led you into agreements with your own limitation. When your energy felt depleted, God was pulling you out of environments that drained your anointing. When your vision felt blurred, God was rewiring your discernment so you would not repeat cycles disguised as opportunities. And now, as the fog lifts, you are seeing something extraordinary. You are not behind at all. You are right on time for the unveiling. Beloved soul, listen carefully, because what I am about to say explains the pressure you've been carrying. A destiny like yours cannot emerge without resistance. Your spirit is built for elevation, and elevation provokes warfare, not to destroy you, but to reveal your real strength. The enemy did not fight you because you were weak. He fought you because heaven marked you as a vessel of abundance, influence, clarity, and transformation. The resistance was a recognition of your potential, but something has changed. You can feel it. The resistance is losing its grip. The heaviness that once lingered no longer latches on to you with the same force. The doubt that used to silence your dreams now fades quicker. The emotional wounds that held you hostage are healing faster than you can explain. This is not coincidence. This is breakthrough season cracking open in your life. The signs are everywhere. You have moments of divine insight that arrive unexpectedly, as if whispered directly into your chest. You feel drawn to new habits, new environments, new expressions of purpose, even if you don't yet know why. You're losing tolerance for procrastination, self-sabotage, and small thinking. You catch yourself dreaming again when you thought dreaming was over. This is the Spirit of God activating destiny alignment within you. Heaven is pulling you forward with a force stronger than fear, stronger than delay, stronger than the weight of your past. And chosen one, your past has tried to cling to you. Not because it defines you, but because it recognizes what you are becoming. You have been shedding layers of identity you once relied on for survival, and your spirit is stepping into a version of you that can carry authority with grace, abundance with humility, purpose with clarity. But there is a deeper reason heaven is speaking so urgently to you now. You're approaching a moment, a divine crossroads, where your next decisions will matter more than anything behind you. The realm of the Spirit has begun rearranging the path ahead of you, pushing certain doors open and forcing others closed. You may have already sensed it, a strange acceleration in one area of your life, coupled with sudden endings or redirections in another. This is heaven ensuring that you do not repeat patterns that cost you time. And beloved, here is the truth heaven needs you to embrace. The future calling you is bigger than the identity you have been holding on to. The anointing over your life requires a stronger structure than the one you've inhabited until now. This is why you have been feeling stretched. You are outgrowing internal ceilings. You are stepping into spiritual authority you once doubted. You are transitioning from surviving your story to stewarding your destiny. And still, there is one more revelation approaching, one more truth heaven has been preparing your heart to receive. A truth that explains why the timeline of your life has been so fiercely protected, why the battles intensified right before every breakthrough, why the weight of your purpose has felt heavier in recent months. Chosen one, breathe, because what is rising in your spirit right now is not imagination. It is recognition. You are beginning to remember who you were before life dimmed your fire, before disappointment rewrote your confidence, before betrayal reshaped your trust. You are remembering the version of yourself crafted in the mind of God long before your birth. And heaven has been waiting for this remembrance, because without it, you would keep walking like someone uncertain, when in truth you have always been marked for influence, impact, and divine authority. The truth heaven is bringing into focus is simple but world-altering. You are never ordinary. Your journey has been anything but typical, because your assignment is anything but small. The weight you carried, the storms you endured, the strange warfare that always surrounded your steps, all of it was connected to the magnitude of what rests upon your life. But for years, you thought those battles meant you were flawed or failing. You blamed yourself for delays that were actually spiritual barriers erected to slow down what heaven intended to release through you. Look closer at your own story, chosen one. Notice how every time you approached a turning point, something came to steal your focus. How every time you were about to rise, someone's words pierced your confidence. How every time you gained momentum, an unexpected setback pulled you backward. These weren't coincidences. They were coordinated attempts to convince you that you were not ready, that you were not capable, that you were not worthy of abundance or elevation. Yet despite all of this, you still rose. Maybe slowly, maybe trembling, but you rose. And the reason you rose is because the hand of God never left your path. Beloved soul, heaven is revealing this now because you are stepping into a stage of life where clarity is not optional. You cannot afford to misunderstand who you are anymore. You cannot afford to carry the outdated belief that your calling is fragile or uncertain. You are stepping into a period of divine fulfillment where God requires you to stand like someone who knows their assignment carries weight in the spirit. The pressure you've felt lately, the urgency, the holy discomfort, these are contractions of destiny, signaling that something long concealed is about to be birthed. You have been shifting from survival mode into creation mode, from waiting to walking, from hoping to knowing. This is why your spirit won't let you rest in old patterns anymore. They simply cannot hold you. Listen carefully, chosen one, because what I am about to unveil goes deep. Your life has been strategically preserved for an era heaven has already prepared. There is something you are meant to build, speak, carry, initiate, or transform that no one else on earth can replicate with your voice, your frequency, your spiritual imprint. And this calling is not ahead of you, it is waking up inside you. You may not realize it, but you have already felt the first signs. That sudden desire to declutter your environment without knowing why. That pull towards solitude, reflection, and spiritual realignment. That sharpening of your discernment where you instantly sense who belongs in your life and who doesn't. That internal push to upgrade your habits, your thinking, your discipline. These are not personality shifts, these are prophetic signals. Heaven has begun strengthening your infrastructure so you can hold the weight of what is coming without collapsing under its magnitude. Because, chosen one, what is coming is not small. You are entering a season where restoration will not look like repair. It will look like replacement, expansion, acceleration. God is not simply returning what was stolen, He is multiplying it. Not simply reopening closed doors, He is building new ones. Not simply aligning opportunities, He is aligning you. The lost time that once haunted you is being redeemed in ways your mind cannot yet comprehend. Opportunities that slipped away are circling back with greater force. Connections that fell apart are being replaced with divine partnerships. Strength you thought you lost is returning as wisdom. The version of you that doubted everything is being replaced by a version that commands the room. But heaven needs you to hear this next truth, and it is heavier than anything said before. Your delay was not your fault, but your rise will be your responsibility. Heaven has cleared the path, but you must walk it. Heaven has restored the timeline, but you must step into it. Heaven has awakened your purpose, but you must embody it. The season ahead requires a stronger you, a more decisive you, a more disciplined you, a more spiritually attuned you. And this transformation is not impossible. It has already begun. You are not being prepared, you are being positioned. And there is yet a deeper revelation forming, one that explains why heaven has invested so heavily in your awakening. Why your spirit has been stirring as though something monumental is approaching, why the atmosphere around your life feels charged with divine urgency. Chosen one. The next truth will reveal the core of your calling, and when you hear it, you will understand your entire life differently. Chosen one. Draw closer in your spirit, because what is emerging now is the truth heaven has been circling you toward from the beginning. Everything you have lived, everything you have lost, everything you have survived was shaping you for this revelation. Your life is not random, your gifts are not accidental, your pain was not wasted, your delays were not denials, your warfare was not a sign of weakness, it was confirmation of assignment. You were born carrying something rare. Anointing that disrupts darkness, insight that exposes deception, compassion that heals others at depth they don't even speak about, resilience forged through storms that should have destroyed you, and a spiritual sensitivity that makes heaven lean closer when you pray. This combination is not common. This is why your journey has felt heavier than the journeys of those around you. A mantle like yours cannot be carried casually. But here is the truth that heaven has waited until now to reveal. You are a catalyst soul. A catalyst soul is someone God sends into the earth to break patterns, to shift family lines, to interrupt generational cycles, to awaken sleeping destinies, to rebuild what was destroyed, to carry light into places that have not known light for decades. Catalyst souls do not fit into normal timelines, normal expectations, normal paths. Their lives bend differently. Their timing unfolds at heaven's pace, not society's pace. This is why you always felt out of sync with others. Why your progress felt slow, but your growth felt deep. Why your heart matured early. Why your spirit carried an awareness you could never fully explain. Heaven wasn't delaying you. Heaven was protecting the architecture of someone whose life would influence more than just their own story. Chosen one. Your calling reaches beyond you. This is why destruction tried to meet you early. This is why confusion tried to cloud your identity. This is why discouragement tried to become your companion. This is why people who lacked the capacity for your heart mishandled it. This is why you battled loneliness even when surrounded by others. Heaven was marking you, separating you, refining you, not for isolation, but for elevation. Your life has been a classroom where God has been teaching you the weight of compassion, the value of discernment, the responsibility of influence. He was forming you to carry wisdom that only comes from surviving what others collapsed under. Your breakthroughs were not delayed, they were deepened. And beloved soul, this is the part that will make your spirit tremble. Heaven is moving you out of preparation and into activation. The season you are entering will not resemble the seasons behind you. You are walking into a divine acceleration where the gifts inside you will sharpen rapidly. Opportunities will align suddenly. Connections will appear strategically, and doors that once resisted you will open without effort. Because heaven is no longer simply training you. Heaven is deploying you. You will begin to feel a pull toward purpose stronger than procrastination. Ideas will come faster. Clarity will settle deeper. Your voice will carry an authority you did not previously possess. People will begin seeking you for wisdom. Solutions will rise in your mind before problems fully form. This is destiny alignment, elevating you into spiritual adulthood. And yet, with all of this, there is a truth even deeper. You were not only chosen to change your life, you were chosen to shift environments, families, atmospheres, generations. You are the interruption to patterns that oppressed those before you. You are the first in your line to awaken spiritually at this level. You are the one heaven trusted to carry vision through adversity. You are the one the enemy feared would rise. This is why your time was fought. This is why your confidence was targeted. This is why discouragement whispered lies. But the war over your future has already turned in your favor. Heaven has stepped in. Your spirit is rising. Your purpose is remembering itself. You are being ushered into the greatest chapter of your existence. Chosen one. The truth that comes next will reveal what heaven has specifically assigned you to carry, and once you hear it, nothing, absolutely nothing, will feel the same again. Chosen one. Steady your breath, because what unfolds from here reaches into the very blueprint of your existence. The deeper truth heaven has been guiding you toward is not merely about purpose, but about identity at a level you have never consciously embraced. You are not designed to simply participate in life. You were designed to shift it. Every time you sensed you were different, every moment you felt out of place, every season where your path refused to look like anyone else's. These were not flaws in your story. They were fingerprints of divine intention. Heaven is unveiling now that you are not only a catalyst soul, you are a carrier of divine interruption. Wherever you exist, cycles break. Wherever you enter, atmospheres change. Wherever you commit, growth takes root. And wherever you speak, chains loosen, even when you're unaware of your own impact. This is why people have gravitated to you for comfort, yet often withdrew when faced with the truth your presence reflected back to them. You were built to activate awakening in others, and awakening can be uncomfortable for those still hiding from their own shadows. Beloved soul, this anointing did not come cheaply. You paid for it in tears you never told anyone about. You earned it in nights where you wrestled with questions that had no immediate answers. You carried it through heartbreak that cracked you open in places only God could heal. And while others saw the surface of your life, heaven saw the trenches you crawled through. Heaven watched you rebuild yourself after every disappointment. Heaven recorded the courage it took for you to stand again when your spirit felt fractured. Heaven noticed the way you kept choosing love even when wounded. These are the qualities God molds only in those called to carry significant assignments. And this is why your elevation will not be subtle. You are stepping into a realm of influence you once thought you were unqualified for. The dreams you dismissed as too big, the visions you tucked away, the whispers you heard in prayer but couldn't fully understand. These were previews of the future heaven is now aligning. The season you are entering will require more of you, but it will also reveal more of you. Gifting you didn't know you had will surface. Strength you thought you lost will return. Clarity that once flickered will glow steady. You will feel guided, not guessing, aligned, not wandering. Chosen one, understand this. Your life is a prophetic timeline. Certain events could not unfold until you reach this level of spiritual maturity. Heaven waited not because you were behind, but because the weight of the assignment required a version of you forged through fire. That fire was not punishment. It was preparation. The emotional healing you've walked through has cleared space in your heart for the abundance heaven is releasing. The financial stability you prayed for is tied to wisdom you had to grow into. The wealth mindset being birthed within you is not about greed. It is about stewardship. legacy, impact, and beloved. Legacy is where this revelation deepens. Your calling stretches beyond your own lifetime. The choices you make now will ripple forward into generations. The healing you embrace will heal those who come after you. The boundaries you set will become templates for others. The courage you embody will awaken dormant courage in people connected to your presence. Heaven never assigns this level of influence to someone who has not been refined through struggle. That's why your story is filled with chapters that forced you to evolve rapidly. That's why your heart carries both tenderness and strength. That's why your intuition has sharpened. Heaven has sculpted you into someone capable of carrying destiny without collapsing beneath its weight. But there is another truth, a deeper one, that heaven whispers now. Your calling is awakening fully because heaven is preparing to accelerate your timeline. What should have taken years will take months. What felt distant will move closer. What once resisted you will begin to cooperate with divine timing. Your elevation will not follow natural logic because it is spiritually authorized. Doors you couldn't pry open will unlock. Paths you never noticed will appear. People assigned to your journey will recognize you without explanation. This shift is already happening. You feel the internal pull. You sense the nearing of something holy. You've had moments lately where it feels like the veil between who you were and who you are becoming has grown thin. That is not imagination, that is activation. Heaven is merging your preparation with your purpose. Chosen one, hear this. You are entering a divine appointment with your own becoming. The future is not waiting for you, it is calling you, and with every step you take in alignment, you recover the time you thought was lost. But heaven has not yet revealed the full picture. There is still a truth rising, one that explains the specific mantle you carry, the assignment that sets you apart from other chosen ones, the reason your path has been uniquely shaped and your spirit uniquely stretched. Chosen one, prepare yourself, because what heaven is about to unfold reaches into the marrow of your destiny. This is not merely revelation. This is recognition. The truth rising now is the truth your spirit has been whispering for years, the truth your dreams have been hinting at, the truth your warfare has been confirming, the truth your intuition has been circling but could never fully articulate. You are not just chosen, you were appointed. Appointed for a role that carries spiritual weight, generational impact, and a mantle that few have the capacity to withstand. And this mantle has shaped every chapter of your life, even the ones that felt confusing, painful, unfair, or delayed. You are not walking through random events. You are walking through the architecture of a calling designed before the foundations of the world. Heaven reveals this now. You carry the mantle of a builder in the spirit. A builder does not merely hope. A builder constructs. A builder establishes what did not exist before. A builder enters spaces of brokenness and becomes the blueprint for restoration. This mantle explains why your life has often felt like a demolition site before it felt like a foundation. Builders endure intense breaking. Builders face resistance that feels personal. Builders walk through seasons where everything collapses. Relationships, finances, confidence, direction, not because they are cursed, but because heaven is clearing old ground to make space for a structure that must last. You thought your setbacks meant you were unworthy, but chosen one. Builders are not born in comfort, they are born in collapse. This is why everything you walked through had purpose. The betrayals made you wise without making you bitter. The losses made you strong without hardening your heart. The loneliness made you spiritually sensitive rather than numb. The storms forced you to develop discernment deeper than surface knowing. The delays trained your patience until your faith could outlast any attack. Every event shaped you into someone who can build without breaking. But heaven reveals more. You're not just a builder, you are a restorer. Restorers carry an anointing that unsettles darkness. Wherever you go, truth rises. Wherever you speak, clarity comes. Wherever you stand, cycles destabilize. This is why people around you often face sudden shifts, because your presence exposes what they tried to hide. You are crafted to confront what others avoid, to heal what others ignore, to bring life into emotional, spiritual, and generational ruins. Your purpose is not passive. Your calling is not quiet. Your assignment is not small. This mantle explains the spiritual resistance you faced from childhood. The enemy recognized the danger you posed before you understood your own identity. He tried to silence your voice, shrink your power, distort your self-worth, distract your focus, and bury your confidence under the weight of disappointment. But even in your weakest moments, your spirit refused to die. And heaven took note of every moment you rose when no one knew how heavy your soul was. Chosen one, the fact that you are still here is evidence of divine endorsement, but heaven is not finished revealing. There is another layer to your mantle, one that heaven has not spoken until now because your spirit had to mature enough to hold its weight. You carry the signature of a forerunner. A forerunner walks ahead of their generation. They see before others see. They feel shifts before others notice them. They outgrow their environment before their environment understands what happened. They transition seasons earlier than those around them, and because of this, they often feel misunderstood, isolated, or out of place. Being ahead feels like being alone, until heaven reveals why. Forerunners are entrusted with the future before the present catches up. This is why your desires don't match your surroundings. Your vision doesn't match your resources. Your spirit outgrew your atmosphere. Your hunger felt excessive to those who settled. Your standards felt unreasonable to those without purpose. Your dreams felt too big to those who lived comfortably in cages. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break open, and that breaking is happening now. The spiritual veil around your calling is being torn away. You are sensing impulses toward change that make no logical sense but carry divine authority. You are dreaming bigger without trying. You are craving alignment more than validation. You are losing interest in anything that wastes your time, drains your energy, or insults your purpose. You feel heaven urging you to get serious, to get intentional, to get aligned. This urgency is not anxiety. This urgency is activation. Heaven is saying, move, build, become. But there is still more, chosen one. A truth even deeper. A truth that clarifies why your time has been the battlefield, why your life has been spiritually observed, why heaven has accelerated your awakening. Because you are not just a builder, not just a restorer, not just a forerunner. You are a carrier of generational reversal. When you rise, everything behind you rises. When you heal, family lines heal. When you choose alignment, curses break. When you embrace purpose, timelines correct themselves. When you walk in authority, battles fought for decades begin to crumble. This is the mantle hell hoped you would never discover. And now that you are awakening to it, the shift in your atmosphere is only beginning. Chosen one, listen closely, because as you approach the final stretch of this great unveiling, the atmosphere around your spirit is shifting yet again. Something in the unseen is leaning toward you with intention, with precision, with a clarity that will not allow you to return to who you were before this moment. You have felt the weight of awakening tightening around you, urging you to step into a version of yourself that you can sense but have not yet fully embraced. And now, heaven begins to reveal why your journey has been shaped with such unusual intensity. You are a carrier of generational reversal, yes, but this mantle does not operate in isolation. It operates through the frame of your decisions, your habits, your words, your alignment. Heaven has been waiting for you to reach a point where you could finally partner consciously with what has already been written about your life. That point is now. Your awareness has caught up to your anointing. Your spirit has caught up to your assignment. Your identity is catching up to your history in heaven. But chosen one, understand this. Stepping into destiny is not a moment. It is a series of deliberate internal shifts that realign you with the architecture God designed. This is why heaven has been strengthening your discernment until it became sharper than instinct. This is why your intuition has become impossible to ignore. This is why the old cycle of self-doubt has begun to crumble each time you choose clarity over fear. You're not simply waking up. You are stepping into command, and command is the destiny of those who carry reversal. You are meant to walk with a confidence that does not come from personality, but from spiritual authority. You are meant to speak with a voice that does not echo insecurity, but divine assignment. You are meant to hold your ground in moments where your old self would have collapsed. The expansion rising in you is not ego. It is heaven stretching your spirit to match the size of your calling. This is why time has suddenly become sacred to you. You can feel it. The hours that once slipped unnoticed now carry weight. The days you once wasted now feel costly. The opportunities you once postponed now sit heavy on your heart. Because your spirit knows you cannot afford to drift anymore. The timeline of your destiny is accelerating, and heaven is requiring a level of intentionality you have never operated in before. Chosen one, you are being repositioned in the spirit. Elevation is no longer a distant prophecy. It is the ground beneath your feet. But with this elevation comes a truth that separates those who rise from those who remain stagnant. You must choose alignment daily, not once, not occasionally. Every day, every thought, every boundary, every decision that protects your calling and preserves your energy becomes a declaration that you are ready for the abundance heaven has already released into your future. And heaven is watching, not to judge, but to partner. The more you align, the faster the restoration unfolds. The deeper your clarity, the quicker your steps advance. The stronger your discipline, the greater the opportunities that find you. This is not motivation. This is spiritual law. You were never meant to chase your destiny. Your destiny is meant to recognize you by your alignment. And beloved soul, your alignment is strengthening. Heaven feels it. Earth feels it. Even the resistance around your life has begun to acknowledge the shift. When someone chosen begins to rise, the atmosphere trembles. Old patterns grow nervous. Old identities lose their grip. Old fears lose their authority. Your spirit is stepping out of the shadows of former versions of yourself, and that emergence is shaking everything that once confined you. But hear this. Your rise is not meant to be silent. Heaven designed you to leave a trail of awakening behind you. As you walk forward, people connected to you will feel the ripple of your transformation. Your elevation is not selfish. It is catalytic. Others will ascend because you obeyed. Others will heal because you chose clarity. Others will break cycles because you confronted your own. This is why heaven fought for your time. This is why your warfare was so personal. This is why your delays were so strategic. This is why your awakening could not be postponed another moment. Chosen one, you are stepping into the most critical phase of your journey. The phase where you become fully aware of what heaven has invested in you. Once awareness locks into place, nothing, absolutely nothing, can return you to the smaller version of yourself. And now, before we transition into the next movement of this message, heaven asks one thing of you. Make your agreement known, not in silence, not in hesitation, but in action. If this word has stirred your spirit, if you feel the mantle tightening around your identity, if you can sense heaven saying this is you, then act in alignment. Take a moment, chosen one. Subscribe, like, and share this message. Not as routine, but as declaration. Because when you amplify what awakens you, you signal to heaven, I am ready to step fully into what you have spoken. Chosen One. Now that heaven has awakened the memory of who you are, the next movement of your journey requires action. Not frantic striving, not desperate effort, but intentional alignment. What unfolds from here is sacred because this is where revelation becomes embodiment. This is where destiny stops being something you hope for and becomes something you walk in. And heaven is ready to guide you into the practical steps that will anchor your rise, stabilize your spirit, and open the pathways that lead directly into the life written for you. Hear this with clarity. Your future will not be built by emotion alone. It will be built by discipline, shaped by revelation. The spiritual awakening stirring within you must be accompanied by choices that reinforce it. This is not about perfection. This is about consistency. Momentum in the kingdom is created through steady obedience, not sudden bursts of inspiration. So let heaven speak to you now about the first shift, the shift of your inner environment. For too long, your mind has hosted thoughts that undermine your calling. You've allowed old narratives to occupy sacred space. You've entertained interpretations of your past that were written from trauma, not truth. But Chosen One, those thoughts cannot walk with you into the next season. You must begin each morning by reclaiming your mental atmosphere before the world attempts to shape it for you. Before you check your phone, before you revisit yesterday's worries, pause and speak aloud, even if your voice trembles. I align with what heaven has written, not with what fear has suggested. This single declaration begins to train your spirit to lead your day instead of your emotions. It creates a boundary between who you used to be and who you are becoming. Next, Chosen One, you must guard your physical space. Destiny needs room, abundance needs order, elevation needs environment. If your surroundings are cluttered with remnants of former versions of yourself, heaven's instructions will have no place to land. Begin removing what no longer aligns. Objects that carry emotional residue, items tied to seasons you've outgrown, distractions that drain your attention. This is not minimalism. This is spiritual hygiene. When you clear physical space, you clear energetic space. And heaven fills any space you prepare. Now lean into this. Your relationships must undergo divine sorting. Not everyone who started with you can travel into your next chapter. There are people heaven assigned to your growth and people you assign to yourself out of loneliness, fear, or habit. The difference is becoming sharper. Pay attention to who nourishes your peace and who disrupts it. Pay attention to who expands your vision and who compresses it. Pay attention to where your spirit rises and where it shrinks. Alignment requires honesty. Some connections were seasonal. Some were transitional. Some were tests. And a few, very few, are covenant. Let the Spirit show you the difference without resisting the truth. And Chosen One, hear this gently but firmly. Stop apologizing for the boundaries heaven is asking you to set. You're not rejecting people. You are protecting purpose. Every boundary you honor becomes a signal to heaven that you are ready to steward blessing without wasting it. You cannot carry generational reversal while entertaining chaos. You cannot walk in elevation while tolerating environments that drain your anointing. Let us go deeper now, into the realm of your habits. Because habits preach louder than intentions. The life you desire is built on daily architecture, not occasional inspiration. Begin choosing one small discipline each day, 5 minutes of stillness before sunrise, a whispered prayer before stepping out the door, one scripture that anchors your thoughts, one intentional breath that recenters you when overwhelm knocks. These practices are not rituals. They are the scaffolding of your spiritual structure. Notice something, Chosen One. As you do this, heaven will begin rearranging your desires. What once tempted you will lose its pull. What once distracted you will no longer appeal. What once felt impossible will begin to feel natural. Transformation is not loud, It is quiet, steady, and relentless, and it has already begun within you. But you must also respond with action in the external world. If you have been waiting for the perfect moment to begin a project, a business, a creative pursuit, a ministry, or a personal breakthrough, hear this clearly. The perfect moment is created, not found. Heaven does not pour into stillness. Heaven pours into movement. Even small steps create supernatural momentum. Begin with what you have. Begin where you are. Begin without needing full clarity. Obedience unlocks insight. Let me tell you a secret of the Spirit, chosen one. Heaven partners with motion, not hesitation. And while you move, speak life over your path. Do not let your words contradict your prayers. Declare prosperity while living with a wealth mindset. Declare healing while practicing emotional honesty. Declare clarity while walking in small acts of obedience. Every word you speak becomes a seed. Chosen ones must learn to plant intentionally. Now, beloved soul, as you stand inside this divine turning point, let heaven also invite you into something communal. If this message has stirred something alive inside you, if you feel the shift becoming tangible, if you sense your spirit rising into new strength, then share your voice in the comments and write your affirmation. I rise now. Let it be your agreement with heaven, your signal to the unseen realm, your declaration that you are stepping into alignment with boldness. We are only at the beginning of what heaven wants to unfold for you. Chosen one. Now we go deeper, because heaven is not simply instructing you to shift your habits. Heaven is preparing you to hold what is coming. Many can receive blessing, but few can sustain it. Many can experience breakthrough, but few can steward it. You, beloved soul, are being taught the architecture of sustained elevation. Not a moment of change, a life of transformation. There is a spiritual principle heaven needs you to internalize. Your destiny expands in proportion to the structure you build for it. Elevation is not random. It lands where there is readiness, and readiness is not emotion. It is capacity. Heaven is expanding your capacity right now, and this expansion will touch every layer of your life. Let us begin with your emotional framework. For years, you survived by suppressing parts of yourself just to keep moving. You minimized your needs, silenced your intuition, tolerated what drained you, and carried emotional burdens alone because you believed strength meant endurance. But chosen one, endurance without expression becomes erosion. Heaven is calling you into emotional honesty, not weakness, but truth. You must acknowledge what hurt you so it can no longer hold you. You must name what disappointed you so it can no longer define you. Emotional healing is not poetic, it is practical. It liberates your spirit from internal anchors that slow your rise. If tears come, let them. If memories surface, face them. If forgiveness feels impossible, pray for willingness. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect, just present. Because as your heart clears, your discernment sharpens. And in the coming months, discernment will be one of the greatest tools you carry. Now listen carefully. Discernment is not suspicion. It is spiritual vision. It allows you to sense shifts before they manifest. It helps you identify divine connections from distractions. It sharpens your ability to hear instruction amidst noise. And heaven has been increasing your discernment through every uncomfortable moment you endured. You learned to read silence. You learned to feel energy. You learned to identify when peace left a room. These are not personality traits. These are spiritual tools. Use them now. Your next season requires you to be selective with your time, intentional with your words, and prophetic with your decisions. Not impulsive, prophetic, meaning your choices must reflect where you're going, not where you've been. Each yes must honor your calling. Each no must protect your future. And chosen one, you must release the illusion that you owe everyone access to your journey. Elevation requires privacy. Growth requires shelter. Not everyone deserves to hear your dreams while they're still seeds. Some hearts cannot celebrate what threatens their comfort. Some minds cannot comprehend what exceeds their vision. Share selectively, build quietly, move steadily. Let your results speak louder than explanations. Now let heaven speak to another realm, your finances. Financial stability is not separate from your spiritual life. It is woven into it. You have prayed for abundance, and heaven has heard you, but abundance must rest on stewardship. Begin organizing what you have, even if it feels small. Track your spending. Set aside what you can. Honor what flows through your hands. A wealth mindset begins with gratitude for every resource and discipline over every dollar. When you demonstrate order, heaven releases overflow. When you practice responsibility, heaven releases opportunity. When you walk in wisdom, heaven releases increase. And chosen one, increase is coming, but it must find you prepared. Now let us step into the realm of purpose, because your purpose is not an idea. It is an assignment encoded into your spirit. It calls to you through curiosity, through longing, through repeated themes in your life. Pay attention to what energizes you. Pay attention to what breaks your heart. Pay attention to what you cannot ignore. These are clues. Purpose rarely reveals itself fully. It reveals itself in pieces, like stepping stones. Your responsibility is not to see the entire path. It is to take the next step with faith. Begin writing. Begin planning. Begin creating. Begin learning. Begin refining. Do something that moves the dream from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. Heaven is waiting for your participation. Your destiny is waiting for your agreement. There is another layer, chosen one, your voice. You have been silent for too long. You've dimmed yourself to make others comfortable. You've held your tongue to avoid conflict. You've withheld wisdom because you feared being misunderstood. But heaven did not anoint your voice for silence. There are people who cannot rise until you speak. There are atmospheres that will not shift until you declare truth. There are doors that will not open until you articulate what has been burning inside you. Your voice carries frequency. Your words carry authority. Begin using them. Speak life over your home. Speak healing over your body. Speak favor over your finances. Speak alignment over your future. Speak release over your past. Your tongue is the steering wheel of your destiny. Now, chosen one, pause for a moment. Check your spirit. Notice that stirring, that subtle heat rising in your chest. That is not emotion. That is activation. Heaven is confirming that you are stepping into spiritual maturity. You are not merely receiving instructions, you are awakening into them. And now, as your spirit stands open and receptive, I want you to engage with heaven actively. Leave your declaration in the comments. Write something bold. Write something true. Write something that signals to the unseen realm that you are ready to walk in alignment. Write, I claim my breakthrough. Let it echo as prophecy over your life. We are not finished. There is still much heaven is ready to pour into you, strategies, clarity, alignment, and power. Chosen one. The deeper we move into this divine instruction, the more heaven begins to illuminate the realms of your life that have been waiting, sometimes aching, for alignment. What comes next is not merely guidance, it is strategy, heavenly strategy. Practical steps woven with spiritual authority, because your breakthrough season will not be sustained by inspiration alone. It will be sustained by structure, focus, and a renewed sense of stewardship over your own destiny. Let us begin with one of the most underestimated forces in your journey, your energy. Your energy has always been sensitive, powerful, and spiritually attuned, even in seasons where you doubted your worth. This is why certain people exhausted you without doing anything obvious, why certain environments felt heavy the moment you walked in, why certain conversations left you mentally drained. Your spirit was detecting misalignment long before your mind could articulate it. Heaven is now asking you to honor that sensitivity instead of apologizing for it. Protect your energy as if it were currency, because it is. Everything in your life, your creativity, your discipline, your emotional stability, your spiritual clarity, flows from the state of your energy. Begin paying attention to what revitalizes your spirit and what suffocates it. Notice who speaks life into your identity and who subtly diminishes it. Notice what activities ignite your purpose and which ones numb your passion. These are not small observations. They are indicators of your spiritual ecosystem. Now, chosen one, let us speak of rest. Not sleep, rest. There is a difference. Sleep repairs the body. Rest repairs the soul. You have spent years surviving, pushing, enduring, carrying, moving, and rebuilding without ever learning the art of true restoration. Heaven is calling you into sacred rest, not as indulgence, but as discipline. Rest is spiritual warfare. When you rest intentionally, you reclaim power from everything that once drained your capacity. Rest resets your discernment. Rest sharpens your hearing. Rest allows the Holy Spirit to minister to parts of you logic cannot reach. Block out sacred time with no apology. You cannot pour from an empty spirit. Now lean in, because heaven is shifting into another realm. Your decisions, your life will accelerate or stall based on the choices you make daily. Not the dramatic choices, the quiet ones, the invisible ones. Destiny is shaped subtly. Every decision you make signals to heaven what you are ready to receive. When you choose discipline over distraction, you announce readiness. When you choose healing over avoidance, you announce maturity. When you choose boundaries over people-pleasing, you announce authority. When you choose alignment over convenience, you announce elevation. Heaven watches these choices, not to judge you, but to partner with you. Next, chosen one, let us talk about your calling in the physical world. Purpose is not merely spiritual. It must be expressed through action, contribution, and impact. You are not designed to drift. You are designed to build. Begin asking yourself practical questions. What problem am I drawn to solve? What wisdom do people always seek from me? What conversations ignite my spirit? What injustice stirs something holy inside me? What skill keeps resurfacing no matter how many times I ignore it? These questions reveal direction. They help you identify where heaven is trying to position you. And beloved soul, you must begin experimenting. Purpose is discovered through movement, not contemplation. Try, create, explore, build, fail, rise, adjust. Heaven works with motion. And chosen one, there is something heaven urgently needs you to understand. Your body is part of your assignment. The vessel that carries your spirit must be strengthened, honored, and supported. You cannot complete the work God has placed on your life while neglecting the very instrument He placed it within. Begin treating your body as sacred. Feed it with intention. Move it with awareness. Rest it with respect. Your physical resilience will determine your spiritual endurance. Now step with me into another dimension, your atmosphere. The environment around you must match where you are going, not where you have been. If your external surroundings contradict your internal elevation, you will feel spiritually conflicted. Begin cultivating an atmosphere of peace. Play worship, light candles, speak scripture aloud. Keep your space clean. These small acts shift the spiritual climate and create a landing place for divine instruction. Chosen one, heaven now turns its attention to your identity practices. Identity is not discovered once, it is reinforced daily. Begin declaring truth over yourself, not as empty affirmation, but as alignment with heaven's blueprint. I walk in purpose. I rise in clarity. I carry divine wisdom. I step into abundance. I honor my calling. I choose destiny. When you speak these truths consistently, you dismantle the false narratives that have lived in your mind for years, and heaven responds. Now let us address a spiritual principle many overlook: gratitude as activation. Gratitude is not sentimental, it is strategic. When you express gratitude, you shift your frequency. You open spiritual gates. You signal that you recognize the fingerprints of God on your life. Gratitude multiplies what you honor. Begin ending each day with 3 things you're grateful for, not because your life is perfect, but because gratitude makes room for more. Chosen one, there is one more layer in this segment. One heaven presses with urgency. Stop treating your destiny like an accident. It is not fragile. It is not vague. It is not random. Your destiny is deliberate. Your gifts are intentional. Your calling is orchestrated. Begin walking as someone chosen by design, not default. And beloved soul, before we move on, heaven invites you again into declaration. Speak with boldness in the comments. I choose destiny. Let the spiritual realm hear your alignment. Let your future feel your footsteps approaching. Chosen one. As we approach the closing movement of this sacred instruction, heaven begins to gather every thread of wisdom, every whisper of guidance, every strategy spoken over your spirit, and weave them into a living blueprint. A blueprint meant not only to shape your days, but to reshape your destiny. What comes now is not merely the end of this portion. It is the point where heaven looks at you and says, "Now walk in it." You have spent years searching for clarity, longing for direction, praying for confirmation, needing to understand why your spirit felt different, why your path felt heavier, why your timing felt slower, why your purpose felt deeper. But now, heaven reveals. You were never meant to live at the level you once accepted. You were meant to rise. You were meant to build. You were meant to transform. And now, beloved soul, your life is entering a chapter where spiritual maturity must flow into physical action. Everything heaven has revealed, your energy, your habits, your boundaries, your rest, your finances, your voice, your identity, was never meant to be inspiration only. It was meant to be activation. Purpose becomes power only when translated into practice. So listen closely, chosen one. This is how heaven now aligns your next steps. First, commit to clarity. Not temporary clarity, not emotional clarity, sacred clarity. Begin each morning with intention. Let the first voice you hear be heaven's. Let your first breath set the tone of your spirit. Whisper something simple yet prophetic. Guide my steps, align my thoughts, strengthen my purpose. When you claim your direction early, distractions cannot hijack your day. Second, embrace consistency. Your breakthrough will not come from one great act, but from many quiet, faithful ones. 5 minutes of prayer done daily holds more power than an hour done sporadically. Gentle discipline creates spiritual momentum. Heaven responds to rhythm. Third, honor your spiritual signals. If peace withdraws, step back. If discernment rises, pay attention. If a door feels forced, release it. If your spirit feels settled, move forward. You're not guessing anymore. You are guided. Fourth, choose alignment over approval. You cannot fulfill your purpose while living in fear of disappointing others. Heaven does not ask permission from people before elevating you, and you must not ask permission before obeying heaven. If God calls you forward, do not shrink back to make others comfortable. Growth is not betrayal. Fifth, nurture your inner world. Your internal life is the engine of your destiny. Guard your thoughts like a vault. Protect your emotions like a garden. Strengthen your faith like a muscle. Tend to your spirit with tenderness. You cannot receive abundance with an atmosphere of chaos inside you. Heaven pours into vessels that honor their own worth. Sixth, walk with a wealth mindset, not greed, a kingdom consciousness. Believe you are worthy of increase. Believe you are capable of managing blessing. Believe you are called to expand, not shrink. Wealth in the kingdom is stewardship, overflow, generosity, impact. Begin thinking like someone trusted with much. Heaven responds to the posture of expectation. Seventh, honor your calling loudly. Stop dimming yourself. Stop softening your fire. Stop making your gifts small to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You were not designed to blend in. You were designed to elevate atmospheres, shift conversations, awaken spirits, break limitations. The world doesn't need a quieter version of you. It needs the version heaven formed and chosen one. Heaven now asks for something sacred. Participation. Your destiny is a partnership. God opens the gates. You walk through them. Heaven aligns opportunities. You must recognize them. The Spirit whispers instruction. You must respond. This is the final turning point. Stop waiting to feel ready. Move because you are chosen. Every step you take in obedience becomes a signal to heaven. I am ready for the next level. I am ready for abundance. I am ready for restoration. I am ready for destiny. And heaven, seeing your readiness, releases more. Now look at your life through spiritual eyes. Notice how your desires have shifted. Notice how your tolerance for nonsense has shrunk. Notice how your hunger for alignment has grown. Notice how your spirit has stretched in silence. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. You are already changing. And chosen one, heaven smiles at this. Now, before we leave this portion and move into the next, heaven invites you to anchor your transformation with your voice. Speak it, claim it, declare it into the atmosphere so angels can carry it into your future. Write in the comments with boldness, with conviction, with spiritual heat. I am ready for elevation. Let it echo. Let it settle. Let it become a covenant between you and heaven. Chosen one, before we enter this sacred closing, pause. Let your shoulders soften. Let the noise around you fall away. Let your breath deepen as if heaven itself were drawing near, because it is. What comes now is not instruction, it is impartation. This is where everything spoken over your life begins to settle into your spirit, like seed into prepared soil. This is where heaven seals what has been awakened. This is where alignment becomes communion. You have walked through revelation in these moments. You have recognized truth about yourself that your soul had been carrying in silence for years. You have felt the weight and warmth of divine purpose pressing against your heart. And now, the Father invites you into a space where your spirit can receive. Not strive, not question, not analyze, just receive. So, chosen one, breathe slowly and let your heart open. You are stepping into holy ground. Heaven whispers now, be still. I am here. The same God who shaped the galaxies is the one cupping his hands around your future. The same God who lifted Joseph from a prison, who strengthened Esther for her assignment, who restored Job double for his trouble. He is the one who has been watching over your journey, even in moments you thought he was silent. In this sacred stillness, let your awareness rise to meet him. Feel how the atmosphere shifts. The quiet becomes thicker, almost weighted with presence. That is not imagination. That is the Holy Spirit drawing near to consecrate your next steps. You are not repeating prayers tonight. You are entering covenant. Beloved soul, heaven has one intention in this moment: to seal your life in divine alignment. Everything you have learned, everything you have awakened to, everything your spirit has remembered, it is now being anchored by grace. So close your eyes if you can. Place your hand over your heart and listen. Chosen one, I have seen your tears. I have counted your losses. I have walked through your longest nights with you. I have carried you when your strength collapsed. I have guarded your purpose from enemies you never knew existed. And now, I am calling you forward. This is not a whisper of comfort. This is a decree. You are stepping into a season where heaven goes before you. Heaven stands behind you, and heaven surrounds your path like a shield. The emotional healing you have longed for is rising from the inside out. The financial stability you prayed for is being released according to kingdom order. The abundance you were created for is not a dream. It is your inheritance. Your elevation has been authorized. As this moment unfolds, chosen one, begin to see yourself through heaven's eyes. See the strength you gained in survival. See the wisdom forged through pain. See the purity of heart you maintained despite betrayal. See the resilience woven into your spirit. See the fire that never fully went out, even in your lowest seasons. This is who God is elevating. This is who heaven trusts. This is who you truly are. And though we have not yet entered the prayer itself, the presence of God is already resting on you, preparing your spirit to receive every word to come. But before we continue, heaven invites you, gently yet firmly, to engage with what is happening here. Chosen one, if your heart is stirring, if your spirit feels the weight of this holy moment, if something inside you is rising in agreement, whisper your faith into the atmosphere by writing, Amen. Not as routine, not as habit, but as a key, a seal, a signal to heaven that you are saying yes. Chosen one, as we enter the final movement of this message, the atmosphere around you is shifting once more, not with urgency, but with holiness. What heaven desires to place upon your spirit in this moment is not merely comfort. It is commissioning. This is where the veil thins. This is where the weight of divine promise settles like warm oil over your soul. This is where the Father gathers every broken fragment of your journey and breathes wholeness into it. So breathe deeply, beloved soul. Let your heart open. Let every defense fall away. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are received here. Now listen. Heaven is speaking. Chosen one, I have walked with you through the shadows, through the ache, through the disappointment, through the silent valleys where your hope trembled. Not once did I leave you. Not once did I turn from you. Every tear you cried, I held. Every prayer you whispered, I kept. Every moment you thought you were alone, I was carrying you. And as this truth washes over you, something inside you begins to release. Something tight loosens, something wounded softens, something weary exhales. This is healing, real healing, the kind that reaches places you never had words for. Now heaven moves closer. In this sacred moment, God stretches his hand over your past and speaks. It is finished. Over your fears, they are silenced. Over your destiny, it is unlocked. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 is not poetry, it is decree. No delay can hold what heaven has released. No opposition can stop what God has ordained. No shadow can overcome a soul that has been called into light. Chosen one, you are stepping into a life that will look nothing like the seasons you survived. Your spirit is rising. Your purpose is awakening. Your breakthrough season is not ahead of you. It is here, wrapped around your footsteps, woven into every prayer, unfolding with every breath. So now, if you are able, place your hand over your heart again and receive this prayer. Father, for this beloved soul, chosen by your infinite wisdom, I speak blessing, I speak clarity, I speak protection, I speak acceleration. Let your peace fill every corner of their spirit. Let your favor surround them like a shield. Let your abundance flow in unexpected and undeniable ways. Let their future open with ease. Let their purpose stand tall. Let every chain dissolve. Let every closed door be replaced by one divinely crafted. And let your presence follow them into every room they enter. Lord, I declare emotional healing over their memories, strength over their steps, provision over their needs, elevation over their calling, and divine alignment over every decision they make. Chosen one, receive this as truth. You're not forgotten. You're not behind. You're not broken. You are becoming. Say it softly. Say it boldly. Say it until your spirit believes it fully. I rise. And now, beloved soul, before this message closes, I invite you to join heaven in sustaining what has been built here today. When you support this space, when you choose to honor the word that has poured into you, you don't just give. You participate in the flow of blessing. You create a ripple of generosity that heaven recognizes and returns. If you feel led, if your spirit senses the sacredness of this moment, you may offer a super thanks as a gesture of gratitude, alignment, and faith. Not obligation, not pressure, pure worship through giving. A way of saying, I believe in what God is doing here. Let it be done with peace. Let it be done with joy. Let it be done with holiness. And chosen one, as you step away from this message, may the presence of God linger. May your spirit stay open. May your life unfold with grace. And may you never, ever forget, heaven has already moved. Now it is your turn to walk in the blessing.